Good morning. We are heading down to the garden. If I can get my pants tucked in there. What is going on? And we're just going to pick everything basically that is left down in the garden right now. I think that's kind of the plan. Ooh, it's kind of chilly. It was hot this morning, so I put on this tank top thinking that it was supposed to be a little warmer, but it just feels a little bit windy out here today. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jennifer. I'm married to Warren. We have a cranberry marsh and this YouTube channel and 7 kids. It's our oldest daughter's birthday today. She's married and has kids of her own. So I was just in making a cake for her. Do you guys still do that? Are you close in distance? Whoa. Are you close enough in distance to your kids that you can still make them a cake? It's nice when they're close. This video is going to be a week in the life, a week in our country life. It should be pretty normal. We're not currently harvesting this week. I'm not going to really share the homeschooling though. So this morning, so for reference, it's just a little after 10 right now. They're itty bitty.
Oh, Mom, we got a rotten one.
Oh no, we got a rotten one. So it's, yes, so it is, like I said, it's a little after 10. The kids did, well, anyway, Peter and Maria did some school this morning.
Yep.
Like what? What school did you guys do? You did history?
And I did practice my piano.
And I did cursive and history.
Okay.
Practice my piano.
Joe got up pretty late. Yeah, you got up late. Yes, we do have a nice watermelon. We are going to get that cut up for lunch here today. It's kind of a bummer because although this was a fantastic watermelon year for us because it was so hot this summer here, they still come late. And so what happens is that like we're not thinking watermelon anymore. You know, you're thinking watermelon in July.
And look, we have 1, 2, 3.
That one hardly counts.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, we have a lot of watermelon. Oh, we have some huge cucumbers that we need to get out of the garden here.
And the other thing, now we're thinking pumpkins. And all we have is 2 little pumpkins.
I know.
That's it.
Yeah, can you guys
Not
believe
even enough for
we
all
planted
the
4
Yeah,
hills of pumpkins and all we got was 2 pumpkins.
Tons of blossoms.
1, 2, 3,
2 pumpkin flowers.
Yeah, that isn't going to turn into anything, which is really a bummer. And a zucchini.
nice zucchini.
A nice zucchini. So, all right, we are going to see if there's any corn left that is decent enough.
You want that one?
Yeah, might as well pick it. We're just going to pick the rest of the tomatoes and just get everything out of the garden. Good morning, Joe.
We're gonna pick the pumpkin.
Good morning, kids.
Well, you might remember that we had a deer inside of our fence. When I say fence, I don't mean just the fence for the garden, but the entire cranberry marsh actually has what we call a deer fence around the outside. Well, with the really low water this year, we think that they were just kind of like going around the fence where it dead ends into the reservoir. I had a deer and it nipped off all the tops. You can still see like right here. See, it just nipped off and chewed off all the tops and there was a ton of blossoms. Well, they finally re-blossomed and we actually just picked, and off of this one row, we actually just picked this enormous bag, very heavy, of green beans. Now, this other variety of green beans I planted, I just don't like them. They are very tough and they have like a string. So when I cook them on the stovetop and you start eating them, there's always like that string that you have to either like chew and then spit out. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of these. So although they did come back and there are quite a few green beans, it kills me to not pick these, but I think we're gonna leave these down here for right now because, yeah, see when I pick one and then eat it, yeah, so tough. And you know when they talk about, excuse me, when they talk about sweet corn versus field corn, these beans kind of feel like that. Like they're not horrible, but they're tough and stringy. And anyway, we're not going to pick them right now. corn was super late this year and didn't size real well, so we have a ton of this, and Peter just went through and picked everything right now. We're gonna shuck it all and see if there's anything salvageable there, boil up whatever we have for lunch today. Joe and I picked a whole bunch of tomatoes, and so some of these we're gonna have to let ripen up a little bit. I'm unsure exactly what I'm gonna do with the tomatoes yet. And we have some cucumbers down here, a bunch of big ones. Peter picked me some onions to bring up to the house. Let's see, a red onion and a couple of yellow onions, and we have more corn. So, oh, zucchini, he found a couple jalapenos, and we picked one watermelon. Okay, whew, that was a close call. Warren actually had just gotten home, and he went in the house, and he's like, Jennifer, your timer's going off. I almost burned my daughter's birthday cake. But it seems okay. It popped right out of the bundt pan. I'll show it to you guys later. Maria's going to help me make like a little chocolate glaze to put over it, probably some sprinkles or something. And then I'm trying to make some arrangements to take a casserole to a neighbor who has had a baby. And
Mine has the cutest little tail.
yeah, cutest little tail on the corn.
Right there.
Yep. So we are just working at shucking all this corn. So here's what we have so far. And yeah, we're just going to be eating corn and eating corn and eating corn. Today for lunch is going to be the corn on the cob. And then we're also going to have some crackers and peanut butter and pears. So this is actually Joe's lunch because he does not like corn on the cob. So it's going to be just kind of a light lunch day here. But we have a lot of things that are like ripening. The pears that I bought from the farmer's market literally 2 weeks ago have finally ripened, and they all ripened at once. So I have probably 20 to 25 pears all at once. 3 of them I actually cut into, and they were already past ripe. Anyway, that is beside the point. But oh, we also have some carrots. Peter pulled a giant carrot from the garden, sliced that up for us for lunch too. 2 giant carrots. Okay, so just a really simple lunch. For tonight's supper, I cooked up these pork tenderloins. So what I did is I just browned them on the black stone quickly and then put them in here. I think I overcooked them a little bit because it did say 25 to 30 minutes per pound, and this was 2.37 pounds or something. So I did put it in for 50 minutes, which would be for the 2 pounds, but I think they just were thinking an individual tenderloin. So anyway, I think they're just slightly overdone. I did some potatoes in the Instant Pot, so this is just anywhere from like 18 to 20 minutes on high pressure for Instant Pot baked potato. And then we're also having corn. So I just quick threw in all that corn that we shucked up before lunch here today, and more corn for supper. So we're just going to eat some supper here, and then we're going to head over to Emily's so that we can celebrate a little birthday with her. So this week in the life video is really not going to be a week in the life because it's already Thursday. I think I started this on Monday, forgot to film anything Tuesday, forgot to film anything yesterday, and here we are Thursday. I'm actually in the kitchen, and I've got kids who are feeling under the weather again, running a low-grade fever today, and I just wanted to try something new. So I had picked up this cookbook, Fix It and Forget It, new cookbook. I've made a couple things out of here a long time back. I think I already showed those in a video. But I want to give this blueberry bread recipe a try. I've never made anything like this. I'm not going to put it in this style of little baker. I'm just going to use a muffin, or sorry, I'm just going to use a loaf pan like they suggest here in the directions. But I've never done this in my crock pot before, so I just thought I would give it a try. I mean, it's not like I need to today. It's not like my oven is tied up or anything, but I just wanted to give this recipe a try. So I have an egg in here. It says to get this mixed really well. I added in 2/3 cup of sugar along with 2 tablespoons of oil. I have here some orange juice. That is just fresh squeezed orange juice. Oh, a little bit of orange bits. And then I added water to fill the 2/3 cup because I didn't get quite 2/3 cup of orange juice. I also have to add in this orange zest, which I think I'm going to have to use 2 hands for, but I need about a half a teaspoon of orange zest. I'm going to get that all mixed up then. I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour and then a half a cup of whole wheat flour. I keep my whole wheat flour in the freezer because I don't use it real often. I like to have it on hand though. And with the oils that are naturally occurring in the whole wheat flour from the germ and the bran, it can go rancid faster. So I keep it in the freezer. I'm going to do 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a half teaspoon of salt. I'm only going to mix this a couple rounds. And that's what it looks like when I say just barely mixed. And I have frozen blueberries here, so 1 cup. When I measure berries, I like to just kind of overdo it just a little bit. I am just going to lightly mix this. I'm just folding this over until everything is combined and I don't see any flour. So it recommended an 8 by 4 inch pan. I have 9 by 5 or this smaller, like 7.5 by 3.5 or something like that. So I'm going to have to use this because my 9 by 5 did not fit into my crock pot here. And it says to use a 6-quart crock pot. Maybe if I used a 9 by 5 I could just use my bigger crock pot, but this is what I'm going to do. First time trying this. It also recommends to have the loaf pan lifted up by a couple of jar rings, so I have that. Now I'm just going to get all of the batter into this loaf pan and then we're going to bake it or slow cook it. It says for about 4 hours. Okay, I can already tell I don't really feel like washing extra dishes, so I'm just going to keep it going like this, but I can already tell that it probably would be better to bring out my bigger crock and use the bigger pan because this is pretty full. So then this has to be on high for about 4 hours. It says you can start checking it at 3.5, and to also just kind of crack the lid with a chopstick or with a wooden spoon of some kind. So I'm just going to prop the lid like that, take this over, plug it in high. Well, look at here. I had written my little note to first check at 3 and then it could go as long as 3:30. It's 3:20 and Maria just said something to me. She's like, Mom, you know it's after 3 o'clock. Can I do something? I jumped up and rocketed in here. 20 minutes late, but it is definitely done. It was interesting because in the directions it said it would not brown the way it would brown in the oven, but I would say that it definitely browned like that. You can see that it did like bake, puff up and kind of bake over and kind of dripped into the crock pot here, but I'm going to lift this. I better just turn it off because it's done. I'm going to lift this out, let it cool for a little bit. I feel like it's going to be a trick to get it out because it did go over and I don't think I like greased the top edge. We'll see how easy this is to get it out. But it smells really good, feels pretty dense. I'll report back. Yeah, I did have to break off the little like crunchy edges that puffed over the pan, but otherwise it slipped out really nicely. I'm going to get this flipped over. And I'm going to eat this little crunch here. This little crunchy part's good. Hey, Joe.
Hello, Turnbull.
Thanks. At this point in the day here, I'm starting to make some supper. So I'm putting together a double recipe of taco soup. I actually have some ground beef here. We just bought half of a steer, and so I'm using ground beef tonight. I thought I only had one package, like one 2-pound package of venison, ground venison left, but I think I just saw 2 more packs down in the freezer, so not much for venison left. But anyway, double taco soup going into the Dutch oven tonight. Here's my recipe. It's so basic. It's just your meat, tomato juice, diced tomatoes. If your family doesn't like whole tomatoes, you can just throw in some tomato sauce or a little extra tomato juice. You could do crushed tomatoes, really whatever. Some whole kernel corn and some chili beans, and then we'll serve it up over here with some, oh yeah, and then the taco seasoning too. Serve it up with corn chips, sour cream, cheddar cheese, and the kids are happy. Taco soup is all done, and yes, you hear
without loss of enthusiasm.
That is the Jen Fullweiler podcast going in the background. If you guys haven't listened to her, I mean, she's funny, she's witty, but you know what? She has so much great information. Just good. You need to go listen to it. It's good. And Peter wanted his soup bowl filmed, so he's a chips on top kind of guy. Maria, what do you like? Chips on the bottom?
With no soup.
Basically chips. There's Maria's soup. Nice. Today I'm going to start off with a $40 Dollar General haul. Does anybody else feel like they just want to redecorate when they go into Dollar General? I always feel that way, and you know, it takes a lot for me to feel that because I'm not a huge decorator, but I love all the stuff they have there. Anyway, I didn't really buy any decorator stuff. Let me show you what I got today. I didn't need a huge amount of householdy stuff this month, and since it happened to be a Saturday and I was in town, I just thought I would, you know, do the coupon. You can always do that Saturday coupon at Dollar General where it's $5 off of $25. So I only really had 4 items on my list, and the 4 items for this month that I needed was just a little bit more toilet paper, some paper plates for Cranberry Harvest lunch, napkins, and hand soap. So these are the only 4 items that were actually on my list. This hand soap, I just thought I would give it a try. It is the foaming hand soap. I've never had this kind before. Right now, I just opened up what I bought in my last, like, Walmart household haul, which is by Safeguard. Really like that soap. Yeah, it smells good, but I just like to change it up, and I like to try different hand soaps. So pick these up. These were $2.25, but I think they were 50 cents off, and then you get a little bit of a discount with that, like 5 off of 25. I did pick up some of these nighttime makeup removing wipes. I do still really like using the Pond's cold cream makeup remover, but sometimes I find that I'm just tired and I just want a quick wipe, so I picked up some of those. The paper plates, and it was funny, it was actually less expensive per plate to get the Dixie brand than it was to get the Dollar General, like, everyday, whatever their brand is, everyday something or another. I did pick up some more of these lip liners. Again, I believe this is a Dollar General brand, and this is the brand, let me see if I can, what am I trying to do here? There we go. This is the brand Believe, and this is, like I said, I think this is a Dollar General brand. And in my last Walmart household haul, you might remember I also stopped at Dollar General to pick up toilet paper and a couple other things. And I did attempt to get lip liner, and they forgot to put them in my, actually they didn't even charge me for them, nor did they end up in my bag. So I went back and I got a couple lip liners, and I've been using them continuously. I love them both, so I went back and got 2 more colors. This one color is called Hint of Plum, and then this one here is called, is this one It's a Girl? It's a Girl. So we'll see how those are. They also had a great big clearance going on, like all seasonal items. It was like another 75% off or something like that of all of their seasonal stuff. So they had a ton of seeds, and I have had fine luck getting these inexpensive American seed brand and the Burpee seed brand from stores like Dollar Tree and Dollar General. So I'll be just packing these away. I think some of these were only 11 cents for a packet of seeds. So I thought that was a great price. I just picked up whatever just kind of looked good. Some zinnia mix, the peppers, San Marzanos, some pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, some melons, more zinnias, a flour mixture, more melons, and more San Marzanos. So they had a lot to choose from. A lot. Hundreds and hundreds of packets. But anyway, I left most of them there. I did pick up some more washcloths. I seem to go through a lot of kitchen washcloths. They just get really disgusting looking. And it's funny because I find that often before harvest, for whatever reason, it's just like the yearly routine. I pick up some new washcloths. And these were $5 for this pack of 6 washcloths. And then I already showed you the napkins. These were $1 a pack. And then I did pick up a new planner. So I have a planner that I've been using this year that was actually a gift from a subscriber had sent it to me. I love that planner because it came with all these stickers and I use that all the time. But I mostly use my planner for the monthly layout, and I don't use the daily layouts all that much. Kind of hit or miss. And so I thought I would just get this thin one since it's just, monthly. The only thing is there's no stickers. So I am going to look either at Walmart or, honestly, where am I going to go? I'm going to go to Amazon and I'm going to look for some planner stickers because I do really, really like to use like the appointment and the birthday and the vacation and all those little stickers that sometimes will come with a planner. But for $1, and I couldn't go wrong. I also picked up these. These were $1.50 a piece. Normally $6 a piece. So some candlesticks. I've always wanted something that was like a tall candlestick for on my table. I'm not really sure when I'll use these for the first time, but and this one looks slightly bent, which isn't good. That's not good when you're dealing with candles, but we'll see. So anyway, for $1.50 a piece, I just thought that I could give that a try. So last week, Warren went and picked up our half a steer that we bought. And so I have a whole bunch of burger here that I'm cooking down. And actually, I'm going to turn these off right now because low even on my gas stove is pretty hot. So I have in here, this is 3 pounds. It's a mix of beef and venison with an onion diced, no other seasonings in there. And this one I'm actually going to be turning into some Hug and Kiss soup as well as tater tot casserole. And then this one here is 3 pounds of beef with an onion, and this one I'm going to turn into chili. Yeah, let's just make that happen. All recipes that you guys have seen many times on my channel, so I'm not going to walk you through step by step. If you are new here today, welcome, and I will leave some links in the description box below where you can go to watch a video where I actually walk you through my chili, my Hug and Kiss soup, as well as tater tot casserole. All 3 of those recipes are also in cookbook number 1. If you happen to have that and you like to follow along, you can just look in there. And I'm not doing anything crazy today. I'm actually following my recipe. So this is 2 cans of cream soup. I did 1 chicken, 1 mushroom, 2 cans of mixed vegetables. 1 I left the liquid in, the other one I drained most of the liquid out. And then just a whole lot of pepper. I'm going to add in the meat onion mixture, stir it up, and put it into my 9x13 pan. Chili is finished except for tomato soup and elbow macaroni. I've mentioned this before. I actually prefer just like a store-bought condensed tomato soup in the chili. It's just a flavor that we're used to, and I just like it like that. And I don't have any condensed tomato soup right now. So I do have to pick some of that up, but that's fine because we're actually not going to eat this for a couple of days. And so I can pick that up when I'm in town. I also have to boil up elbow macaroni, but I will do that the day of. The Hug and Kiss soup here, I have the potatoes and the celery in there already, the meat, the onions, the salt, the pepper, but I do have to add carrots, and the carrots are down in the garden. So I thought that I would just kind of put everything on hold here for a little while and head outside, and I wanted to catch up with Warren and Peter and just kind of start taking you through the process of cranberry harvesting. All right, well, a half an hour later, I'm finally getting out here for my walk down on the marsh and to catch up with them. But what happened is I was just going to head out the door and Peter came in. So do you guys all remember 2 years ago when he broke his wrist in that four-wheeler accident? His wrist is still, it's just weak. And I'm thinking that I'm going to have to maybe take him in at some point here, because when he does different things, he gets like zings and stuff like through his wrist and it hurts. So anyway, he was coming in and he was feeling kind of bad because he wanted to keep pulling pipe with Warren, but it was just really bothering him. You know, we have to remember he is only 11 and pulling pipe is a hard job. So anyway, Joe caught up with me. You got your raincoat. The rain stopped. We were not expecting a rainstorm this morning, but thunder and lightning, like starting around, oh, it must have been about 8:30 or something, maybe a little even before that. It really started, and then by 9 it was full-on thunder, lightning, rain, and everything. So some of the first steps for cranberry harvest is Warren has to start bringing the water up on the beds. The beds are normally dry. I know that I've had the question before, but people oftentimes, because they see cranberry harvest as like the only time they see it on the news or whatever, they assume that cranberries are grown in water. They're actually not grown in water, but they do use a lot of water for harvesting. They have to be flooded in order to harvest. So anyway, this pipe here is called our main line. This is hooked up to the main reservoir, and so what happens when Warren has to either water or he has to watch for frost, then this is where the water goes through, and then this is what's called a dog leg. So main line pipe, then dog leg pipe, and that goes under the ground here. And then it goes over here. And normally this would be hooked up with irrigation pipe all the way down to the end of the bed. But Warren has already gone through and he's been pulling pipe. So you can see that he has pipe like up on the bed edge. And then after he gets them all on the bed edge like that, then he will jump up onto the dike and pull them all out, line them all up so that they're ready to go back in the beds next spring when all the frost is out of the bed. So I also mentioned that he has to bring the water up on the beds, and how he does that is he uses this ditch. This ditch is also serviced by the main reservoir, which is down that direction, and he pulls like boards, and that opens up the bulkhead and allows water to run into here. And let's walk over here. And how he puts water on is right here. So right now he has everything boarded up because he has the water at the depth that he wants it. But if he wanted water to flow from this ditch into that cranberry marsh or into that cranberry bed there, there's also a tube that runs underneath here, all along here, and then it comes out right over in here. And that allows water to flow onto the bed. And when he gets it to the level that he wants it, then he puts boards in, and it's it basically just like locks the water in place. He will put more water on after he has the pipe out, and he will put water on so it just covers the tips of the cranberry vines. You can see the green sticking out still. It's hard to pull pipe when there's so much water on the bed, so that's why he does it in stages. So he'll open up this bulkhead, allow more water to rush into this bed. That will eventually fill this up and cover up those vine tips, and then he'll be able to run the cranberry harrow through. It's a tractor with a harrow rake on it. Is that a redundant term? Harrow rake? Well, anyway, so that's kind of what happens here. So now that I explained all of it, I was going to actually have him, but you know, once I get talking, sometimes I just can't stop.
You want me standing here, or you want me out full pipe?
I want you doing something. I brought some water. It's not a lot. I thought this cup was full.
Hope I don't go to hell, because I don't do well in the heat.
You're not going to go to hell.
Well, it feels like it today. Just throw it.
Are you sure?
Just throw it. Upright. Only one cranberry leaf.
Only one leaf?
Yep.
You didn't even want to drink it, huh?
Almost.
Well, okay, almost. Okay, I brought you something else too. I'll throw you the big one.
Thank you.
And the little one.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. How's it going?
It's going. Crop's a little less than what I thought that was. The edges look really good, but the centers are thin.
I see.
So we'll see. I thought these were a little heavier than they are, but we'll know once we get them into a truck.
So at this point, he pulls each one out and then he has to hook it up. You can kind of see, slides it in. There's like a little hook that drops into place. Yep, and he lays it in place, stakes it down so that it like doesn't roll back out into the ditch or just get kicked around or anything like that. And then for the winter, that just gets buried in snow, and so he does put a screen over each end so that like mice don't get in there or whatever and try to make a home in the pipe. But I mean, sometimes things happen. But anyway, then what happens in the spring is when he puts all the pipe back out, he has to flush the lines, which is basically just running the water through just to get any debris or anything from the winter out. And all I know is I've lifted a few pipe and it is heavy. I cannot tell you how heavy I think it is. I mean, my girls have done it, and I think maybe it's one of those things where like the first day it's super heavy and the second day it's even heavier because your arms are tired, but by the third day, at least according to Amber, you start to get into a rhythm, and it's not so bad, but all I know is it's hard work. Alright, I'm up in the garden and I'm going to pick some carrots here or pull some carrots for the Hug and Kiss soup. I only need a cup, so honestly, 3 carrots is going to be plenty. We did pick a lot of beans the other day, a whole plastic sack of beans and like a Walmart kind of bag, that type of bag, a full one, and I see there's definitely more beans down here. Actually, there's quite a few, I'm surprised. And as for tomatoes, there's just a couple that are still green. I'm not going to do anything with these. We're not supposed to be getting frost here. I mean, we're back into the 80s again. I don't think quite the 80s here today, but tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, I think it's supposed to be in the 80s. So I do have a few more tomatoes here, not much. Pretty much the plants are dead. with just a few green ones hanging on. For only planting, I think it was 2 or 3 plants, I have a lot of squash tucked in there, just all over the place. So the Hug and Kiss soup here is at a point that I can add in a little barley. I don't always add barley. It's not part of the original recipe. But every once in a while, I just feel like I want to add some barley. So I don't add a lot, just a little bit. This is a quick cook barley, so I can just put the cover back on and let this simmer away. And that will just kind of soften up. It puffs up, and it just adds a little bit of heartiness to the soup. An unnamed child ate crackers with peanut butter in the living room when I was outside. So yeah, you guys haven't seen this in a while, but it's time to vacuum the black rug. Well, good morning. We are having our after church donuts, which is a real treat. Actually, what happened is we had to split up for church because, are you happy? We split up for church because Warren is already down, and is that one filled?
Yeah.
He is already down raking one of the cranberry beds, and he needed to get that done because of yesterday's storms. He ended up getting a much later start than what he wanted to. So anyway, that's what's happening. So he's raking a cranberry bed. I think he wants to get 2 of them raked. Is that correct, Peter? Do you think 2? Yeah. They're so excited about donuts they can't even listen to me. You put it on there. Yeah, I've got my sidekick with me today. Thank you. Let's get it on all the way. We're just filling jugs for watering flowers because even though it's October 1st, you guys, everything is still growing. Some things are starting to look not so hot though. Looks like someone must have run into this because this is like all busted. But anyway, still watering flowers.
Got a nice wood duck.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Drake wood duck.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go show Grandpa.
Got a nice little mullet on it.
You want to do that? Here. Hop off. Okay, push it in really hard. Harder.
Oh.
Yep. Slide that pin in that hole. Push.
So we walked down. So we walked down here because I knew that Warren and Sam were booming a bed, and I'll have to show you guys booming in the next video because, or I can link to a video if you want to see a past year's booming, because they were just finishing and heading up to get some water, which we feel bad that we didn't bring water down to them because it is so hot today. I think this is one of the hottest October harvests that honestly that I can remember. It is well over 80, isn't it right now? I mean, it's well over 80 right now for October. That's really weird in Wisconsin. But anyway, I grabbed Joe's bike because he had biked down here. We're gonna go and give Joe his bike, and then what Sam and Warren were booming today is actually a brand new bed. So it was the first like year of harvesting it, but not its first actual harvest, if that makes any sense. If you're in cranberries, then you understand what I'm talking about. But so what happens is that you plant cranberries like in the spring of one year. That year is already called year 1. Then year 2, that's where we are right now in this bed. It's year 2, so it's really only like gone through its first or its second growing season. And Warren rakes the bed, and it's not necessarily to get the fruit because there isn't a whole lot of fruit on those like 2-year beds like that. But then what happens is he rakes it to train the vines, because the vines have to get trained kind of the way to lay for harvest and everything, just to go well. So anyway, that's really what this first year is for. Also, if fruit is left in the beds, it can cause, you know, when it breaks down, it can cause fungus, and that would be a problem. So we want to eliminate any fungus or mold spores or anything like that that can cause problems in the fruit in progressive years. You can see the progression of a day. Normally, you're not seeing yourself all day long, but when you flip that camera screen up, then you realize how, as the day goes on, the hair starts falling, the lip liner fades off. I am warming up the Hug and Kiss soup. And yes, the thermometer was reading 88, but this is what I have, and this is what I planned. So it's gonna be Hug and Kiss soup here, and it definitely thickened up, which is, everyone is really going to love that. I mean, I like a thin soup, and Warren actually doesn't mind a thin soup, but I know that the kids are going to like a little thicker soup, and that's what putting the barley in does. So I'm going to get this warmed up. We're going to have this and crackers and butter, and that is going to be supper here for tonight. I am working on getting a video edited. Hopefully I should be able to get that up here tonight yet. It's almost all the way edited, and working on the description box. I have the thumbnail done. I don't have a whole lot left to do on that, just a little bit more in the description box. And then I should be able to get that video up for you guys. It's a pretty short one. I think it's only about 18 minutes. By the time you see this one, you probably have already seen that. But if you haven't, it's like the second day of cranberry harvest. And so you're gonna wanna go and check that one out, because that is the video where I'm like collecting questions, if anybody has questions that they want Warren or me, or I mean, honestly, if you want to direct it towards somebody else on the crew, go right ahead in the comments, and I'll get to them, and we'll get those questions answered. And then probably that video is not going to, the answer video probably won't make it up until, I'm thinking, mid-October. All right, I need to get the table set and get some supper going here. I'm making a late night. I don't know if you would actually call it a late night, but anyway, I am taking a trip to Quick Trip. It's time to get some milk. Good night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you soon with another cranberry harvest video.